Hello and welcome again to the Industrial Boot Camp series. I'm Kerry Rose, Industrial Channel Account Manager Southeast, Marty Reagan, Industrial Channel Account Manager of the South Central, and Nick Wysong, Technical Sales Engineer Southeast, South Central, and West. Today is the final exam. This is where we actually decide whether you pass or fail for our structured cabling system. If you recall, in our last few series, we've been talking a lot about standards. TIA 568, TIA 1005, and especially with respect to TIA 1005, we need to be able to test to these standards. Next slide. So when we talk about testing, we call it validation or certification. Certification has a little different meaning in context to whether it is a certified Panduit installed system that we actually warranty, or there are actually tools that you call validation. But the point is, we're taking our structured cabling system and we're ensuring that the network was installed to the TIA standards, including MICE, mechanical, ingress, chemical, or climatic, or electromagnetic. By doing this testing, we're reducing the startup and commissioning time. So again, we're also verifying and validating that it will support the expensive electronics that you're installing in your system. It reduces future downtime. We're removing the cabling infrastructure as a possible problem in that particular link. We're also going to ensure that the components that are installed meet the TIA standards and specifications, and also it identifies craftsmanship. We can identify whether there's good craftsmanship on the installation or poor craftsmanship on the installation. And plus, when we install these networks and we test them, we have a very good idea that they're going to be future ready for new technology upgrades. And with that, I'll turn it over to Nick, who will kind of talk about the pieces that we were testing.
Thanks, Kerry. I think everyone can agree that some form of testing is required. But what are we testing for, and does the environment matter? Can I ensure a reliable network with just a continuity test? As we learned last time when I spoke about MICE, the environment does matter, and a continuity test will not give you the results you are looking for when trying to set up a reliable network. A continuity test only tests to make sure the path is there, but it doesn't tell you how bumpy the path is or if there's any storms along the way. So when testing copper and fiber, you need to make sure you are doing the correct tests for the environment. In other words, when you set up the test, you want to make sure you have the correct MICE ratings for the environment. If the test you performed at a MICE level 1 or office level environment, but your application is calling for a MICE level 3, you're going to get false results and your cable will underperform. It's kind of like fool's gold. It's nice and shiny and looks great, but it's not worth anything. Once we have the correct MICE settings, we want to make sure we are performing the correct tests. Among these tests are signal strength, noise, crosstalk, and others. If the end user does not ask for these tests to be performed, they are risking the reliability of their network. Similar to copper, we want to ensure we have the correct parameters set when testing fiber. It is important that we are under the link loss budget and we are ensuring that all strands of fiber are in good condition. Loss is not acceptable and we do not want to exceed the standard lengths given by the TIA standards. Marty?
For a network to be operationally effective, a documentation system must be in place as an archive for the testing we have previously discussed. All components must be properly labeled or the process of documentation will be futile. The scheme must be consistent and logical and include all components of the infrastructure. Furthermore, a network diagram will provide a visual reference for the physical devices and cabling. Network documentation will ensure that troubleshooting, upgrades, recovery situations can be dealt with quickly and downtime will be minimized. Next. Validation per the ANSI TIA 568 TIA 1005 limits will ensure performance requirements are met. Proper documentation is a key aspect of network management. Provided the installation is completed by a Panduit certified installer, the permanent cabling can be warranted for up to 25 years. Next. In this episode, we completed the elements of the standards with the validation testing segment. Now that we have reviewed the architecture and standards, we'll begin to discuss the components and pathways that support the TIA model. Next. Thank you for joining today. Join us for episode 5 as we begin the deployment of the architecture using a building block approach. Please feel free to share these short recordings and reach out to your local territory account manager or contact one of us directly if you need further assistance. We will also post this on our LinkedIn pages as a format to share as well.